Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the semifinals here for the ESL Pro Tour Weekly Cup Europe. It is June 22nd. I'm Nathanias, and I'm very happy to have you here hanging out, watching some StarCraft with me as we get to our best of fives. A fantastic series coming up. We've got in the bottom left, the blue Darren player. You know him. You love him. He's Big Gabe. He's Heromarine. And he's just awesome, right? Everyone loves Big Gabe. He faces off against the man that he played in the finals. This is actually a rematch of the finals of last week's cup. Tragically, they're on the same side of the bracket. I'm just going to make the rigged joke about them not being able to play versus each other. He is Clash's Reynor. And of course, Heromarine is from Mouse Sports. I feel like I don't mention his team as much because he's been with Mouse Sports forever, right? I think if we look at like actually competitive, not taking big breaks in playing like streaks of being on a pro team, like Team Liquid literally never gets rid of anybody for any reason, even if they don't play competitively or like take a year break. So not to rag on Team Liquid, but like, you know, obviously they have a lot of players that have been technically on their team forever. But Heromarine's been competing at a high level for Mouse Sports for an extremely long time. I think he's probably one of the longest contracted StarCraft 2 pro gamers there is. And I just think, you know, to me, that's something that's awesome. That's an impressive thing, considering how many of the big teams, quote unquote, right, have dropped people over the years. Or maybe I'm wrong and he left the team 2 years ago and just uses the clan tag because it makes him feel good. I don't really know the details. But it's a best of 5. Over on the other side, I believe Showtime is playing versus Clem in the other best of 5 semifinal. So the winner of this series will play against the winner of Showtime versus Clem. And you know, we've got some very, very strong opponents in this top 4 who have won a lot of these cups. Unsurprisingly, they're in the top 4 again. But last week we had Reynor play against Heromarine in the finals after Reynor defeated Clem, who was on the other side of the bracket this time. So Clem gets a bit of an easier opportunity. Reynor does not really lose when he plays in these cups. So if Heromarine beats him, I'm going to say that that's a bit of an upset. I mean, Big Gabe is awesome and I love him. The thing about Reynor is his ZVT is just disgustingly good. And anybody who plays bio against him usually dies a horrible, painful death. So unless Heromarine's got, he's going to need to be on his best performance if he's going to beat Reynor, is all I'm trying to say. So the Marine is actually waiting at the edge of the base. He must have realized that Reynor does like trying to send the Overlord round the outside. 2 Trailer Park Girls go around the outside. So he's not going to be able to get that easy free scout. And he starts pneumaticized Carapace. He wants to get Overlord speed. He's like, okay, well, if I can't get this scout, you know, a lot of people, you don't actually have vision of this end of the map normally. So he's like, well, you know, if I can't get that scout, I'll just do it that way. The third hatchery is already going, so the Reaper can't really do anything. No kills. I think last week, one of the mini stories that we got to tell, one of the mini stories that we talked about was the lack of any damage from Reapers against Reynor. Like nobody's Reapers were able to touch Reynor's drones or his Zerglings, right? You get like the standard, we're Zerglings, sir. We're meant to be expendable. And Reynor's like, not to me. And getting into that main base once again. Is he going to get a Ling? No. No, he doesn't. But then again, you already knew that, didn't you? Based on the conversation we're literally having right now. Yeah, so these Hellions are also pretty beat up. They're going to have to run home. Now we've got Stim, 3rd Command Center, part of the wall, and a Liberator. So nothing really sharp coming out of Heromarine here. This is more of a... You know, it's kind of like ordering vanilla ice cream at one of those make your own ice cream places where you're like, yeah, I want to play bio, but, you know, I'm not going to do anything crazy around it. Maybe we'll just put a little bit of like chocolate sauce, maybe some peanuts. I don't want any crushed Oreos or Snickers or anything like that. Nah, Heromarine, he's going for a pretty basic sundae of a build order in this game, which is fair, which is fine. You know, I personally am a fan of going for like a mega peanut butter ice cream or something. For me, that'd be like the Battle Cruiser Rush, but this Liberator could still get some damage done. I feel like it's quite hard sometimes to do that, but the Hellions also poked the 3rd, so he's got 2 drone kills. This Liberator will have to reposition. But like I said, you know, 2 drone kills from an opening, that's That's your vanilla ice cream. I don't even know if it's a sundae. I don't think killing 2 drones qualifies for a sundae. This might just be like maybe a single scoop. Oh, that's insulting. 2 scoops. 2 scoops of vanilla with nothing else. That's about it. That's about it. I mean, this is like the Terran build order equivalent of the missionary position. So we've got the lair starting up for Reynor. And Reynor's just, I mean, for Zerg players, there's kind of like a proven path for how you set up and move forward. Like, you don't really play builds as much unless you're all inning. So everything here looks super kosher. He's got 1 halfway done. The Liberator has really failed to get much damage done. Just that singular drone kill throughout the entire game. In fact, if we look at what's been lost, it is just those 2 drones for a Hellion and a Reaper. And he had to cancel a few spores, so it's not like he only lost just that mineral count. And he did lose 2 creep tumors. There you go, Nate. Misclicking and pulling up other menus. So yeah, we got the 1-1. A little bit later, with the lair timing, the 2-2 for Reynor started pretty easily. One of the things we talk about Reynor, he's so good at getting everywhere. And look at this. He's going to go for a little, I assume, Ling drop. Oh, his Baneling nest isn't ready yet. Okay. I'm like, is he not going to turn them into Banes? And then, okay, the Baneling's just finished. So we get the Lings flooding out, trying to push these Marines back, clearing out a few of the creep tumors in this position. Desperately trying to carve out a little bit of space by this 4th base, but that's kind of the thing about playing versus Reynor, is he's just really good at keeping his units out on the map. He always has an insane number of Zerglings. I think we were looking at something like 50 plus usually, and that's what he has actually right now. That's what he had eventually versus Kellizer in the last series, and he just clapped him. So Reynor's going to go for a Baneling drop on the 3rd of Heromarine. He's got his Lings looking for that medevac drop because he wants to distract him. He's splitting the SCVs, but that means that these units kind of got caught. Good reaction time, though, from Big Gabe, as he's actually able to keep the majority of his workers alive. But this Overlord is just chilling here. The Overlord is still chilling there. He's still got 2 Banelings left. He's getting a Lurker Den. I don't mind this high ground position at all, though. How many Banes does he have? We're currently looking at 8 plus 9, so not bad. And the Overlord with the drop Overlord does get away. So tank siege is up on the high ground of the 4th. So that 4th base doesn't really get to be used for a whole lot, but let's see if Reynor can clear him out. The Lings from the left, Lings from the right. Lings going to be clapping Marine cheeks all night, but the ones on the low ground are able to clear out a little bit more, but not enough. And then the Queens are going to push the rest of that away. So Reynor can go back to mining off that 4th. I really feel like he was hoping to do a lot more damage to the 3rd base mineral line, though. Gabe still has a really good amount of economy. He still has solid upgrades, right? He's got his stim combat shield. His 2-2 is still lagging behind, though. I think that's definitely going to be a fear moving forward with this match is, you know, usually Terran players do try to carve advantages out via pathways such as going for those really quick upgrades, right? Like, because like that's the whole thing with Terran is you get your 2-2 at a good timing and then your 3-3 really fast because Zergs can't get the hive. But Reynor has lined up his tech basically perfectly. Like he's got his lurkers out. He's got his hive finishing, which means he can get the upgrades for the lurkers that he wants. So really, there's a very small window now of vulnerability for Reynor before lurker range and lurker burrow speed are done. But we've got multiple spore crawlers here locking this down, and maybe he'll get a drone. Maybe one. There you go. There's one. There's one. Meanwhile, he's trying to do something over here. There's a lot of Lings, Banes, and lurkers, and the spore crawlers do push the Liberator back. He's going to try and sideswipe around it while he deals with this. I mean, he really just needs to reposition this just a little bit. Trying to hold this high ground to take the 4th here, which is, I feel, a little unusual, but I like it because you got this choke and the watchtower, both of which are very nice. He's just kind of leaving this 3rd open for the run bys, but that's why there's a Widow Mine and a siege tank here. Handful of Marines. He needs to deal with the Baneling, though. The Baneling's the big threat. Like, if the speaking of Banelings, and then that Ling drop. I forgot. He was holding on to this for a while, huh? But that's just annoying, though, right? He's forcing him to move everything around in many different, several ways. So Vipers are coming out. Seismic Spines is done. So Lurkers have 10 range now. That's really important. The Lurkers now outrange significantly everything other than the siege tanks. And we don't really have a path right now to get to ranged Liberators. So I'm not going to be including that in my calculation. He does start a third factory. I don't mind that at all. He's going to need a lot of tanks. He's going to need a lot of tanks to be able to deal with the amount of lurkers that are going to be coming. And also, he's going to lose a lot of tanks to the Vipers. So if you only have enough tanks to defend yourself, that's still really not all that good. So the Overlord brings a couple of more lings, ferries them over here. He's been doing some pickup and drop micro. He's basically acting like a Terran player with this Overlord drop, and that's really annoying. He's been struggling quite a bit with all the Zerglings running around inside of the main base, messing with the production. And while the army goes on the right side, he's bringing all the lurkers up with 3 Vipers, blinding cloud, uno, dos. The rest of the force is just a small hit squad on the northwest is trying to come in, but you've got 10 lurkers with 10 range, absolutely eviscerating that command center. The 4th base is gone. He's going to try and stim some bio into the natural expansion to try and deal some damage. The evolution chambers are here, but he doesn't have the upgrades going, so not too much to lose. The lurker den is not nearby. It's over at the 3rd. He's got a couple of other units chasing through. Now, is there a big tech option? I mean, denying adrenal glands here would actually be really sick. That's a massive buff for the Lings, and Reynor's going to have to rebuild his spawning pool. So definitely an unfortunate set of events right there for our Italian Zerg. But at the same time, like, he still had this Overlord being annoying with the Lings. He killed the 4th. Does Gabe have enough money to build another command center? He's going to have to skip a production wave to build a CC. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how Terran players float gas. In case anybody was wondering, he's going to have to stop building units now in order to build a command center because his income is too low. And that's only minerals, and he's going to have a good amount of gas sitting in his bank. Otherwise, he's going to float his main, maybe. But he needs to get that command center up. That's going to be very difficult to do. Spawning pool only just now restarting, so it was slightly late. Not the end of the world. Where's the Overseer? Kill the mine, kill the mine, kill the mine. Jesus, that was a lot of kills on the Lings. Okay, well, I think he cleared out half of the Lings at that base with that Widow Mine shot. Uh-oh, siege the tanks, siege the tanks, siege the tanks, doot, 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 siege the tanks, doot, 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 doot. Lurkers, bro, instantly, doot, 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 lurkers, bro, instantly. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. You can't really do anything against this without... I really feel like ranged Liberators... Lots of tanks, but the tanks are on the west side. Like this bio, you're not going to push into 4 lurkers with Ling Bane support. Forget about it. The other problem as well is you still got to deal with the... Yep, the yoinks. Point, point, point. And that's... See, that's just... Yeah. So the Vipers now, there's no ghosts. There's no ghosts. There's no Vikings. Nothing to stop the Vipers. And they're just going to yoink. I mean, Reynor's moving a little bit far forward here, but... It looks like he might still not lose these units, which would be insane. So he's going to pull those lurkers back. He does have 4 lurkers chilling at the 4th base, and everything that tries to run here instantly dies. So at the same time, though, there's nothing at the right side base anymore. These medevacs have kind of nuzzled themselves into that mineral line, but they do get completely cleared out. And Big Gabe, I tell you what, I mean, it's kind of like when All Might runs out of time. You know what I'm saying? He's looking a little bit... emaciated right now. It is only game 1, but Reynor has definitely shown an absolutely dominant performance, and if he moves out in a couple of lurkers burrow, then it's going to be very hard to unwedge that Zerg siege from his base. There you go, bunch of Lings streaming in. That Widowmine only getting 1 kill. SCV's getting completely torn to shreds as the tanks move up onto this 4th base. Now, the lurkers are not pre-siege. Doesn't really have a whole lot here, but the blinding cloud comes in. Lings try to hit from the south side. He's got a lot of tanks, though. And Heromarine doing his best to hold strong. He needs to focus fire down the lurkers. He's not able to do so, and the rest of the army gets cleared. GG, Reynor takes game number 1. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you start a semifinal. Ay, ay, ay. We will get into the next lobby as soon as possible. Damn, that was absolutely crazy. Just waiting for the lobby and we'll jump straight in. Ever Dream for game number 2. We had to remake the lobby for this game. Apparently, some people have been trying to snipe the links and stuff, so we're just doing invites. So we had to take a second to get into the lobby for game 2. The puppy is trying to eat me now, but we are loading into game number 2. Let's see if our boy Gabe can bring it back now, y'all. 2 hops, 2 hops. But no sliding to the left. That's illegal. It's actually against ESL rules for the EPT to slide to the left. You are allowed to slide to the right and crisscross. Just no sliding to the left. So trailing now in the top right, we've got Heromarine and Reynor in the bottom left, as Heromarine basically tried to play a vanilla ice cream sundae strategy against Reynor. But Reynor basically did, honestly, like, it's not really that crazy what he did. So I don't know that I could call it not like ice cream or whatever. But frankly speaking, the whole thing, like the setup with everything, was just way better, you know? It was like getting like the fake ice cream. Like, you know how you go to CVS sometimes and then they say it's like, oh, vanilla frozen dessert, and you like don't read it. You don't realize it's not actually ice cream because like legally there's just too much garbage in it, and they didn't actually make it with milk, right? Because they're trying to make it cheap. You know, that was a little bit what I felt like. Versus, say, Reynor's like got like a Tillamook vanilla ice cream that was made from cows that get like massages and other crazy shit that keeps them happy. You know what I'm saying? They say happy cows make better milk. I don't know. Kind of makes sense. What on earth did I just spawn? Some interface? There we go. Get rid of that. Thankfully, I know how to get rid of that. So we got a nice little Reaper expand to start this map off for Heromarine. And unsurprising, to be honest. Reynor has gone for a couple of pool first, but that was mostly against Kellizer. He hasn't done it against Heromarine in the same way. Or I don't think at all, actually, because it ends up timing out properly. Here's the real bet. Here's what you want to place your bets on, though, ladies and gentlemen. Is the Reaper going to kill anything? It's my favorite game to play. Usually the answer is no. And maybe Heromarine will kill a Zergling on this map. If he gets a drone, I'll play a sound effect. I'm just interested to see. Reaper's going to come up, starts poking at a Ling. Reynor doing his best, trying to keep it alive. Oh, one's low. He gets a Zergling kill. And a drone gets booped. Oh, but he does manage to make the transformation into a Spore Crawler just at the time. Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen is about to come out, but we've got those drones and those Lings and those drones and those Lings on the run, and the Reaper does take a lot of damage, but he pulls back. That is pretty nice. He actually did get to kill a single Zergling, which, compared to everybody else, this might be one of the best starts a Terran has ever had in a game versus Reynor. He did not deny a drone going to the third, unfortunately, in the midst of all that mayhem, and he's going to come down and see that hatch. Little way past 70% done as the Reaper continues to dance around the front here. Queen's saying, step off! Step off! So you've got Hellions, the starport, a second factory. Oh, you cheeky little bugger. So what we're going to have with the second factory, it pretty much has to be like a blue flame Hellion push. And it could be with Cloak Banshees. This used to be a thing that people did pretty often, actually. Like two factory build like this is exactly the kind of thing that players like 4GG used to do. And you do get a tech lab because you want blue flame. There's a slightly revamped version that kind of came into existence in Legacy of the Void because of the Cyclone. So you could go Magfield, but then your Hellions are just like really not that useful. And Zerg players will generally try to kill you with Mastlings if they can, because Zerglings are cheap. So he is going to get a Roach Horn because Zerglings are just not really good against the blue flame part of this build. And he's going to get a Viking too. I like that actually a lot. I thought he would just go straight for a Medevac and an Armory or like a Cloak Banshee, but I always like Viking openers versus Zerg. Even if they get Ling Speed, like Zerg players are smart, right? If they see that you're not going to build a Viking or anything, 99% of the time, they will happily leave Overlords out on the map, right? Like this guy will sit here and watch the third forever if nothing ever comes and shoots him. Like for Zergs, they're willing to take that small risk to see if the opportunity is there. These Hellions continuing to poke. There is the Medevac follow-up. It won't be as useful as, like, say, if this was a Hellbat push. But since it's Roaches, right, Hellbats were never really going to be, like, a game-winning type move. It's going to be more of, like, a Hellion drop. Like, I'm going to try and bring some Hellions here and maybe drop some Hellions in the main. And there you go. 3 Hellions will be able to one-shot drones. But Reynor, way ahead of us, by the way. He's already got Lings. He's already got Roaches to supplement his force here. And these Hellions are going to try and run by, but there's the wall. And I'm not just talking about the Eagles concert. So here comes the salvation play. Here it is. This is the wide receiver that was going on that corner route that you didn't notice. Can he get into position? Looks like they killed a single drone. These Hellions are looking for purchase once more, but there are the Cucaracha ready to defend. This Overlord dies going in for a follow-up scout. And I think if you're Reynor, you do want to know if Big Gabe is going for bio or mech. A lot of these types of openers can transition pretty well. Like, the Hellions are still good for map control, even if you're going to play bio. Like, just don't throw them away. And then you can easily go into 2 factory siege tank production, right? Like, he could pump out a ton of tanks here, and that would be very strong. So these Hellions somehow get onto the high ground. He's not able to kill that drone. He's just not. Only 2 of the Hellions were able to shoot it, unfortunately. He does scan. This is actually one of the changes that I think was really, really good for Terran, though, especially with like a blue flame opener. Oh, the Liberator's trying to do something here. Raynor's kind of on it already, though. But with like the blue flame opener, you get the extra damage against the creep tumors from the most recent patch, as they made it so that creep tumors now count as light. So if you like just look at a random Hellion, for example, it does 8 damage to a creep tumor on the old patch. But now it does 19 damage. So it takes way less hits to kill creep tumors. Oh my god, he's just gonna yeet the Hellions into the base of Reynor, but half of them only have about 10 or less hit points, but he wants to kill drones. He is sick and tired of these drones mining minerals on his map. Now roach speed is about to finish, so these Hellions wouldn't have been very useful at defending against that anyway. 8 drone kill is nice because Reynor is going for a push. He's building a lot of Ravagers. He's building a lot of Roaches. So with roach speed finishing, the economy actually is going to favor Heromarine if he can defend this. Even if Reynor starts drones now, like there's so many tanks, he really needs to get some damage done, but you need to siege your tanks. You need to siege your tanks. There's the Roaches. They're coming. Heromarine, does he have the tanks covering a wide enough angle to be able to protect his base from these units? That's the big question. Combat shield is only just now beginning, but 1-1's about to finish, and that's going to be actually really helpful for these units. Can he defend? The rest of the Roaches and the Ravagers are coming in. He's got a lot of tanks. Some of them were not sieged, though. 3 on the top. He had the 3 on the bottom. There's the biles raining down on these tanks. He's blowing them up. Now he has 2 more that are about to finish the SCVs, 15 of them dying in the attempt to defend this. And Heromarine taps out. Reynor goes up 2-0. Man, Heromarine is riding the struggle bus here. But then again, so does literally everybody who plays against Reynor. I do not have anything else to add, ladies and gentlemen. Reynor is too good at the video game. Can we please do something about it? Yay. Of course, it's a Pink Floyd concert. Katie and I watched that the other night. But we also like the Eagles a lot, so I figured I would say the incorrect thing since that usually makes people mad. And I'm a jerk, you know? I love trolling people with things that don't matter. You'll notice that. I'm not one of those weirdos who tries to make racist jokes. I just make incorrect movie or music statements that are jokes. Because even if you take it seriously and think I mean it, it's not that bad. All right, we're loaded in to the next map, ladies and gentlemen. We are playing a best of 5, and our Zerg player is up 2-0 over Heromarine, who is riding the struggle bus on the left side over here, as he faces off against young Reynor. Not to be confused with Jim Reynor, the loser from the StarCraft story that forgot about all of his friends and millions and billions of people being slaughtered in the hopes of being able to hook up with his alien girlfriend. Rest in Parmesan, Phoenix. I will never forget you, even though Reynor did. Barracks on the high ground. I presumably gas. Reaper expand, all the standard shenanigans. You know, I have to say, I'm always excited to watch Reynor play. I'm always excited to watch Heromarine play, but yeah, Reynor is just like too good. I don't know, man. Reynor is on such a level. I don't know. Has he won every tournament here that he's played in? Like all the EPT cups he's played? Because usually if Reynor doesn't win, Heromarine wins. But if Reynor plays, then usually the person that beats Heromarine is Reynor. And I think they've played in the finals a ton of times. I was saying before as well that the frickin' whatchamacallit failed as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Even trying to cheese him just didn't really work. The mech build he tried to open with didn't do a whole lot. And then he just got crushed by those Ravagers, right? It's really hard. It's really hard to compete with Reynor. He's on a crazy level, which is wild because obviously, as we all know, Heromarine is also very good and he's been doing well. They played last week in the finals. But since they were both on the same side of the bracket, there's really just not a whole lot that could be done about this. And I'm just going to click on random places with the camera because there's nothing to talk about for the first couple minutes of the game, really. Guy in chat says, honestly, it looked like Gabe was going to be fine in that last map. Yeah, I think I barely caught it. It's hard to observe and cast and read chat and stuff at the same time. I barely caught it, but he was repositioning. He was repositioning a handful of his siege tanks at that very last second. So during the first, I think, like couple bits of that fight, I think he only had 3 of his tanks active. I don't know. I was confused that he left the game only because I don't know if he's on tilt or he's just tired. I think it's about 10 p.m. now in Europe. It's 1 p.m. here in Vegas. So usually you guys are 9 hours ahead of us. Average 9 hours ahead of us. So it's hard. It's you're playing against a guy this good. You throw everything that you have against him and just nothing seems to stick. I really don't know. I don't know what Heromarine can do here. My heart tells me that he's just outmatched, and my head tells me that he wasn't favored to be able to beat him in the first place, and that's tough. That's tough. So we'll see. Hellions. I mean, he hasn't been able to do anything with these standard openers. Is Reynor gonna try and just kill him quickly now, though? Look, because these queens are pushing the Reaper back. But, you know, we're gonna have that lair a lot earlier than we usually do. Even before the third base, which is a little bit unusual. So we're getting something different this game out of Reynor, which is nice. So he might be trying to go for, like, I don't know. If we're not going to do a vanilla ice cream build, I think, yeah, this is the vanilla ice cream build from Heromarine. I think Reynor might be going for something like Rocky Road or Moose Tracks. Could be like a Rocky Road or Moose Track type situation. And I believe actually Reynor won last week. I believe that Reynor won last week. I remember typing in Reynor's Twitter handle, although I could be wrong. My memory is bad. If you watch any StarCraft at all during the week, because there's like a tournament literally every single day these days, it's very easy to just misremember. It's possible that he actually lost and I forgot, but I probably watched another 3 matches where Heromarine lost to Reynor this week if that was the case. There's just way too many games of StarCraft being played, which is obviously an oxymoron because there can never be too much StarCraft. So the Overseer comes in, he sees, he's like, yeah. Okay, there's your 3 racks. Meh. He's got some Hellions. He's got a Reaper. But he's going to go for Mutt-Mutts. This is a phenomenal map for Mutalisks. Look at the main base. You can push from here from the skies. These are all safe areas. You can put Mutas here. You can put Mutas here. You don't have quite as much space here, but there's a lot of room to work with that makes Mutalisks extremely powerful here. And maybe Reynor's just getting bored of clapping him with Mass Ling. I don't know. Goodbye, Overseer. There you go. Blows up into a bloody pulp all over the ground. That's a damn mess. Call the janitor, please. Clean it up. Queen's coming to the forefront. Dropping the tumors. Continuing to try and take over this map. Now, Heromarine has not been able to really deal damage with his openings. At some point, he did throw away all of his Hellions last game to kill 8 drones. But even here, he tries to shark a little too close to the natural. He loses everything to the Zerglings. And if he's not careful, this Viking to the Overlords is also at risk. Keep him alive. Keep him alive. But what is he going to do against the Mutas? Stim is ready. Medivacs are coming. But he's not going to be able to leave his base. In this third, actually, if he brings SCVs there very quickly, the Mutalisks are going to be able to go put pressure. Actually, he'd probably just throw the Lings on the third and send the Mutas to the main. And then it becomes like that movie Batman where he's like, will you save Rachel or will you save Harvey Dent? Well, if you're doing Batman's voice, then that's his perspective. Will I save Rachel or will I save Harvey Dent? So it's going to be hard to protect all of his bases at once. The Viking is pretty much the only annoying wild card. So he deals with that. And he's just going to try and grab random unit picks everywhere. That's how you want to play this style. It's so hard because all the things that make this map good for Terran make this map good for Mutas. There's just a lot of space you can dance around. I'm sure he can build turrets. Sure he can build bunkers. As long as he's doing that, he's not attacking. As long as he's doing that, he's not getting out on the map. Oh my god, that one Muta was 6 health. Ay. And he's still coasting. I don't know. I'd move that Muta back. Maybe send him home. Maybe send the troops home for a little bit. Will this Muta die? Oh my god, he killed one of his own Marines. What the? Okay, well that was awkward. All right, so he might just try to do a few bounce shots off these SCVs, right? Yeah, that's not bad. Did he lose a Muta yet? Not yet. He's got 10 of them over here. Oh, there's a Widow Mine. There's a Widow Mine. Calaris. A Widow Mark. Oh, nice. I like watching this. I just tell the camera to follow the Mutalisks. There you go, guys. Look at that. I'm a good caster. Now I can just cast. Oh, good grabs. Yeah, so he's got what? Yeah, 6 kills there. And this is what I was talking about, though. Like, how are you ever going to move out and attack? That's what makes this style good. It's risky because the gas going into mutas doesn't go into Banes. But by the time you try to get there, like, Baneling speed's going to be done. 1-1. And then on creep, it's actually really hard for Banelings not to connect with bio. So there's going to need to be something other than just Marines. And we'd have 6 Widow Mines, which is like, that's okay. But those all need to be like big juicy shots, right? If he had like 14 mines, then we're talking about like, okay, not all of them need to really connect. But then it's tough because guys like Reynor, one of the reasons why they don't really lose to bio players is because A, siege tanks are just worthless against them. But Widow Mines, guys like Reynor and Cyril are really good at making the mines actually damage the Terran player more than the Zerg. But look, he's got these Banes. He's ready. He's ready to go. More mutas continue to come out, but look at what he has to push across. It's going to take multiple scans to get rid of the creep here. Reynor says, I don't care. I'm just going to run off creep. I don't really like that decision. I think that's a bit risky here. There's a lot of Marines. He definitely can't fight off creep. And the Queens, a little bit adventurous with them. Okay, so Reynor makes his first slip up. He did lose his first muta. This could be a sign of a total collapse. But the missile turret at the third base, the gold base, is being ravaged. SCVs getting picked off. He also can go for the tech labs here and limit the ability to produce the Marauders, which he was trying to use to soak. And he does go snipe a Marauder with the mutas. Continuing to fly around. His little hell bat. Little bats from hell. I guess that's kind of what mutas are. They don't have flamethrowers, but... And then what are you going to do? Try to attack on creep against this? He's got so many Banelings. Oh, he denies the vehicle armor and kills it too. Damn, son. Yeah, this is bad. So he's trying to slowly push out, but he's got such a wide berth of creep to get across. And the Baneling count is at 41. Lings coming from the north, heading from the south, heading from the east, heading from every direction possible as he makes his way towards him. Now, the Widow Mines are off creep. They do hit some of the mutas and protect the Banelings, but this might actually be too much bio for Reynor to try and chase into off creep. And some of his bases are actually not really connected to the main creep flow, which actually does hurt pretty significantly. That Mutalist count, he trimmed the fat a decent little bit. 4 mutas killed this game is nice. Mutas are such a snowbally unit that at any point, if you can kill 1 or 2 and just slow that momentum down, that's actually really important. It's really important. And he's not afraid of the mutts with the Marines, but there's still so many Banelings and Zerglings coming in to try and stop this. But hey, he's done a good job of pushing the creep back. You got to be careful with how far you want to try and push off creep if you're Reynor. Weirdly enough, he's actually pushed part of the army onto a different area of creep. He's going to try and deal with that mine. Most of the Banelings are actually gone. This could be a map win here for Heromarine. Starting to feel pretty good about his odds. There's only 3 Banelings. He's going to need to make a lot more, but he doesn't have Zerglings. He's only just now finishing a couple of waves, and they're going to immediately turn into Banes, but the amount of time that Reynor needs could be a little bit too much to ask for given the circumstances. And I like this. He's got a lot of Widow Mines now, starting to really hunker down this center position. Not hitting the Banes, though, is tragic. He did kill quite a few Overseers, though. That's pretty nice. Reynor's still got money. He's still got a good amount of income. He's taken several bases. And it's not like Heromarine been rich in this map, but this is definitely the best that he's been able to have. So he's trying to make a ton of Banes to defend and then wants to bring the mutas out. But, oh, is he fat fingering that all army hotkey? Got to be careful, mate. Careful. So we got 3 turrets. 1, 2, and 3. So the Mutalisks are going to try and force the army to come home. We have some Marines heading back there. He killed a base. He's feeling good. The Mutalisks on their own, they really need to generate some more value for Reynor, because I got to say, this game was starting to slip a little bit. And you can see how many minerals Reynor has. That is simply the result of building so many Mutalisks. Is he doesn't, it's not like you can just throw wave after wave of Banelings when you're playing with mutas as well, because the gas cost. It's a little bit easier to engage some of these armies because he doesn't have drilling claws. But oh yeah, he eats a couple of mine shots there. Muta count back down to 17. And he's been at 17 mutas for a while. Never really able to tip over into the critical mass scale. Careful. More mine shots coming forward, trying to drag but the Overseer's also not able to really drag them over the bio very effectively. The Baneling's trying to push one more time. Without the creep spread, Heromarine splits have been really good, but does he have enough? If he loses the Marines here, he's pretty broke from all the damage he took. GG, Reynor does it and secures himself a spot in the finals.